Alright folks, this is it. We are going to round this game out today. Sorry for cutting it off early last time, but yeah, there's a lot that you can do in this ending. I don't know how much we're going to show off. But first, we're going to get a letter from Tony, and there's a couple other letters we can pick up. Letter from Mom. The rest of the game seems to be working fine, except that we're just moving real slow, so I assume that there's a bit of lag going on here. And just to make sure, I am in fact going to go in here, and we're going to... Yeah, okay, that's back to normal. Alright, so it just is that this part of the ending is a lot laggier than I remember. Boing, we're gonna miss you, Mr. Saturn. All of them. Hey, Jeff. Yeah? Oh yeah, Dr. Ando Nuts, you were afraid you wouldn't get to make fun of Jeff anymore? Admittedly, performing that kind of surgery on yourself would be a little tough, wouldn't it? Oh yeah, you're just a big glory hound. Yep, good old Dr. Ando Nuts, the greatest father in all of video games except for all of the others. So wait, did Gigas have only a 99% chance of succeeding to begin with, or what? I don't know. Hey, it's the guy from the mole hole earlier. On a picnic or something. Horseshoes, huh? That's an unusual thing to say, but alright. ETT indeed. Alright, so let's have a look at these letters. Alright, Tony. Dear Jeff, everything's really going great here. I wish I could have gone with you on your adventure, even just part of the way, but instead I'm sitting here waiting for you in Winters. I want to see you again as soon as possible. I can't wait to see your cheerful face. I bet your glasses are dirty. If you come back, I'll clean them for you. Does Jeff just not know how to clean his glasses, or what? Like I said, I'm waiting for you. Yours truly, Tony. P.S. Don't show this letter to... Oh, bad news. He wasn't even in the party, so that is outside of his control. Alright, let's read the letter from Ness's mom. Dear Ness, how are you? Since you left home on your journey, things have changed around here. For example, I don't have as much laundry. This sounds like something my mom would write. Also, we don't seem to eat steak as much as we used to. I heard that you defeated some universal evil character. What was it, Googie or something like that? Well, that sounds really great. I want to hear all the details, so hurry home, okay? Tracy, King, and I are waiting for you. Indeed. But that is going to wait a little bit. Check out the letter from the kids. Dear Paula, how are you doing? I'm fine. I'm fine too, so are me. Me also, me okay. Please come and play with us again at the Polestar Preschool. Oh yeah, one more thing. Bring us some presents, if you have any. Sincerely, your friends at the Polestar Preschool. Well... kids like high explosives, right? I mean, this is clearly not a terrible idea whatsoever. Correct? Hey, you. Think new things, difficult things from now. Happy, boing, more happy, ding ding, much more happy, boo-boos. Big, happy, zoom. Mr. Saturns are very amusing. I believe in the Japanese version, they pass a lot of gas instead. Because this is one of those kind of games sometimes. Hey, you. Can we be operated on real quick? Sure. Thanks. There were no status effects on me to be cured, but why not? There are a couple of... well, I think only really the Shyness book to go grab in terms of items, so we will do that in just a moment. But first, we are going to... go and... all those Mr. Saturns are the same. I just want to go visit the one who says Dakota. That's the wrong one. It's this one, right? Dakota! Indeed. Well, let's head out of here. We are actually going to take the scenic route here and walk back to Threed. Maybe even all the way to Tucson in order to drop off Kid. The kid in this case being Paula. But I figure we should take in this music a little bit. You know, we finished the game. And so, why not? Let's have something a little bit, you know, peaceful. Plus, for some reason, the music changes over here. Did it reset, or is it just... It's just ambient noise now. That's weird. Oh, that loop. Oof, that didn't feel good. Very weird. I noticed this when I was watching a friend play through a version of this with an MSU patch, and noticed that the music reverted to the original music that was in this area. And honestly, I just wanted to see if that was like a thing with the original game or something, or if the MSU patch was screwed up in some way. Plus, I mean, we got to hear this. And we got to hear a little more of this music, and we have a nice walk back to Threed through all of this place where we once encountered zombies. And here we are back at the peaceful town of Threed. After we've taken a path that we took a couple of times before, I guess. I don't remember if there's a whole lot going on here, but there's a few more things in here. Yeah, that's old dialogue, isn't it? I believe it is. Let's have a quick look in the circus tent. Oh, we get our picture taken in front of here, because I guess that never happened before. Whoops! That's my bad. I forgot to do this. How about that? Alright. Circus tent, you got anything going on here? People. Well, you see. Oh, hi, zombies. They're all trapped in a cage, and also... You can't talk to them from below. I actually don't remember that, so... Neat. Kinda glad you got to see real zombies, yeah. Yeah? Like you use a bunch of piece paper, right? These people, I almost regret saving them. Oh hey, arms dealer. You still sell me things? Yes. Well, how about that? I guess you don't know that the world has been saved and evil will never show up again until Mother 3. Oh, there's nobody in here. Well, that's weird. It's very, very weird. let's go ahead and just walk Paula home. See, I remember there being more tunnel over there. Maybe it's removed when you're walking. Ooh, an item I missed. What was in here? A skip sandwich. Well, sure, why not? Let's go ahead and eat that, and we can have a few seconds of walking faster. It's not very long, but you already knew that. We've seen skip sandwiches before. Alright, well, here you go, Paula. Huh, that one line is a little bit out of, anything else with anything. Speedrun strats, indeed. Let me relayer that there. Thank you for showing up once again, Calamitish. Eh, they're so awkward. I remember being awkward. As if I'm not still an awkward human being. So, let's go ahead and we're going to teleport to a couple of places just to show off a little bit of stuff here that I find a little interesting in the post-game here. Actually, we're right outside the Deep Darkness. I can show off that while we still sink into the swamp water here, we no longer take damage. I guess because the Deep Darkness is no longer an evil place or something, but I think it's probably more to the point that Ness is just that powerful now. Also, yes, you can ride the bike through the swamp water, the Deep Darkness, and you do sink in, which is a nice little attention to detail considering you would not be able to ride the bike at the point when you get there and talk to you. Hi, smile. Eh, not really, we teleported. Hey, check out this old TV. Nothing going on. Alright, buddy. I just thought you were a Tenda. Be healthy. Yeah, that's helpful advice. Thanks, buddy. Nah, I'm good. We saw that cutscene already. The book Overcoming Shyness was very helpful to us. We've kept it for a long time, but I'll return it now. Thank you very much. And thank you as well, Tenda Chief. You are pretty alright. Yep, Dinosaur's stone talks lots. We should go visit that stone. Also, yeah, we could do the trade-in game for the Horn of Life in the post-game, but I didn't do that in the main game because, honestly, it's a massive money sink for very little return. I think there's a bag of Dragonite at the end, but that's about it. Now let's go to the Lost Underworld. We're doing teleport beta because that is the best we can do here. And let's go see if we can't find that talking rock. I do not remember how to navigate the Lost Underworld very well, so that may not be a very easy thing to do. What's in this present box that we missed? A need for us to go around, that's for sure. A guts capsule. Oh, do we still have inventory space? Yeah, I guess we can do that. Sure. Ness, why don't you get a point of guts that you don't need anymore? Alright, so I think that is the cage over there. Let's make sure that we... Yeah. Crash into that tree. Go back in there. Hey, look, the bird's not moving on the small overworld. It'd actually be pretty neat if it was. I don't need words anymore. I'll turn back into a simple rock. Yep. Farewell, talking rock. You done good. You told us some things that we needed to know. Let's head to Fourside. Or let's crash into a tree extremely early. Let's do teleport beta. Just because, yeah, the Lost Underworld is a bit of a minefield when it comes to stuff that you can teleport alpha into. Although it is also still pretty easy to screw up and accidentally ram into a tree. Who's this police officer just standing still? That's what you say now, buddy, but, Oh, hey, it's Mr. Monotoli. Oh, Ness, I'm Guildguard Monotoli. Don't you remember me? I returned this building to Mr. Enrich Flavor. I'm working as an elevator man. Very happy and it's good to be alive. Yeah, he seems like he found some peace once he lost the Mani Mani statue. Let's get a little bit of the creepy music and take the elevator. And see if we can't discover who this Mr. Enrich Flavor is, because I'm not 100% sure myself. Those guys have no new dialogue. I'm gonna assume that he'll be in the back room here. We get there. Might take some doing, I don't remember the path. Oh no, that's where there's a sudden guts pill or something. And here we go, into the big double doors. Look at this bear. He's stuffed. Alright, there's Mr. Enrich Flavor. Brought the town of Forside back to life. Appreciate it from the bottom of your heart. Thank you. Yeah, not a whole lot to say. Oh well. That's alright by me. Let us go ahead and walk back outside. And, let me think about a couple other places I could check out. Oh yeah, there's at least one more thing that I know I want to look at before we go ahead and return that book to the One-At Library and hit some credits. Well, first, taking a drink. Business just turns to look at the button panel. For some reason, I immediately thought of the edit that Tim Buckley did to Loss a few years ago. I think it was a few years ago, in fact, where he changed it from the last panel to having Control-Alt-Delete Man, whose name I don't know, giving the user, like, the viewer, this sort of, like, evil grin when you got to the last panel, and it looked so messed up, because, like, those of you who don't know what Loss is, which I'm sure that you all do, that it was this very out-of-place thing with the character's wife having a miscarriage, and so it instead looks like in the last panel that he's responsible for it. And it was so messed up, like, it was supposed to be this sort of like, hey, stop making fun of me kind of thing, and it did not work. It made him look even worse. This is now a truck stop, absolutely no minors admitted. The management, the lazy cowpoke stop and go. Club Stoic has changed. Loss is unironically art. I do not disagree with that sentiment whatsoever. What do you got for us, Minor Bird? In the morning, fall in love, eat lunch, fall in love, and at night, fall in love again. That's your dream life. Yeah, that's the one person. This Minor Bird has some interesting ideas, that's for sure. You know, we should find out about that lazy cowpoke stop-and-go place and see if, you know, find out when that happened, because that's a little strange. Alright, let's pick up the payphone. Alright, Stoic Club, what do you got for us? Yo, this is the lazy cowpoke stop-and-go. New truck stop just opened. The Stoic Club, that label place shut down ages ago. Ages ago? We could have called these guys literally right before we went to the Cave of the Past. It would have been fine. I mean, maybe it did take us that long. Who knows? Loud music, great food, and really rowdy crowds. Well, gotcha. That's clearly supposed to be like a bar, but Nintendo, you know how they can get. In fact, speaking of Nintendo and this series in general, I'm pretty sure that thanks to Reggie, who of course, Reggie Fils-Ami, I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. His last name is very French. Reggie was, he mentioned Mother 3 on Twitter, and that has gotten Mother 3 to trend again. In particular, he said he hadn't played the English version of it yet, but it was I think he implied it was the most recent game that he hadn't played yet out of his big list of stuff, which, you know, hey, he should get around to it. Come back in the year 2001 to return the map. Well, I'll come back 20 years ago. All right. Anyone want this book? Yeah, I think that Mother 3 would be very, yeah, I don't know, even at this point, that would be very likely to get a good localization. And whatever localization it would get would probably be a little bit rough in some locations. Yeah, that would be one thing that would certainly cause some issues. Even nowadays, like, there's some people, one of the streamers I used to follow, although he quit a couple of years ago, said something like, oh, well, maybe it might be fine nowadays, but I really think that that is getting a lot less, that is becoming less true, basically. Anyway, nobody seems to want this Shyness book, so I may be leaving soon. That and... oh, I've already talked to this dude. The other thing... I've said this before, but I think the ship has sailed a little too far for Nintendo to actually... oh, wow, that person really had an emergency, huh? So, I think the ship has gone out to sea a little bit too far as regards a release for another reason entirely, which is that if there is a release of Mother 3 and it is not the fan translation, a lot of people will cry heresy. But if there is a release and it's not the fan translation, or rather, if they put out a release and it is a fan translation, is what I meant to say, people will accuse Nintendo of being lazy instead. So it's kind of a catch-22 with the whole release of it. So just better to leave things as they are. And yep, nobody wants this book apparently, so... Yeah, there is also that. I mean, I think that it wouldn't be terribly hard, relatively speaking, for Nintendo to just be like, hey, we would like to purchase the rights to this. And I think that everyone involved would probably be okay with it. I would assume that... I think most of them are still, like, mildly public figures in the EarthBound community, but again, don't take my word for that. But even if that is easy, I think that people would not be terribly happy with it. Who's this guy? What do you got, Lardna? Son isn't home now. He's walking around somewhere. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Your husband is also gone. Mr. Pretty Man. Always has great advice. He's a real gentleman. You'll be happy you met him. Really? That makes him sound like a scammer. Also, nice cactus, by the way, but there's nothing wrong with the cactus, apparently. I mean, we've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in our bank account from destroying random monsters. I don't think debt is a big thing for the Ness family anymore. Let's see what's up with Dad. Oh, don't need to tell you this anymore. Next week will be your birthday, Ness. Trying very hard to be home for that big day. Be sure to get you a good present. You've been following my adventures closely. You want to hear more about them from me in person. I'm more mature over the phone. Well, alright, so let me read this message because I saw it was a little bit long. It's a double-edged sword because they'll have to admit that they turned a blind eye to the unofficial translation, and that might bring their rights to the IP into trouble. Also, they'll get into legal trouble with an unofficial patch, which will just open a massive can of worms. At least they aren't actively trying to cancel the unofficial patch, and it's easy to obtain. That is true. Nintendo, it is known, knew about the fan translation at the time that it was being made. So, honestly, the fact that it is still available and not hard to get hold of is kind of impressive. Because they very well could have just dropped the hammer on them at pretty much any point, provided that that was in, legally within their rights, which actually it would have been because there were some minor adjustments made to the actual game code in order to facilitate the text spacing and some other things. So, yeah, that said, let's see if we can round things out a little bit here. How you doing, dog? The dogs haven't figured it out yet, but you know that we saved the world. Yep. Get to hear all of our stories, but you don't want to annoy us as soon as we walk through the door. All your chats with people you met on your adventure are finally over. Please come back here. The photo man brought an album by. I'd like to look at it with us. Well, let's go check in with Tracy. And then let's do our thing. Shork. Yeah, that's a sound effect. We'll do the lunch thing. Tracy is, I'm good for now, Tracy. Act's very unusual, because remember, she's younger than us by several years. Unless we were launched many years into the future. Yeah, I think we're clear to move forward. Yes, the Mother 4 game, if it's the same one that I'm thinking of, the name was changed on that because of, well, trademark violation related issues, I believe, specifically. They renamed it to Oddity. Okay, yes. That is what I was thinking of. They renamed it to Oddity to avoid, as you say, to avoid trouble in a very general manner. Let's take a look at this cast of characters. and see how many of them we don't remember. Because I've been at this off and on for a little too long. And there's Liar Exaggerate with the Money Money statue. That's a thing I forgot to show off, was the Money Money statue with him at the beginning of the game. Frank Fly, the Sharks, Mayor B.H. Perkle, Captain Strong, the Winnett Police Force. Only 3 of them for some reason. Little Separator, Paula's family, Paula and her teddy bear. Orange Kid, and the Apple Kid's mouse, who's gotten a little bit lost, rather. The Apple Kid, Mr. Everdread, who may or may not be dead. It's hard to say for sure. And there they are, the Blues Brothers. I mean, the Runaway Five. And the Blue Cult, Mr. Carpainter with the statue. And Porky, of course. Hey, it's the Bubble Monkey. And our friend, the MS Pain Beast. As well as Tony and Maxwell. The Tessie Watching Club. Brick Road with that weird face. I don't 100% know what they were going for, but they were going for something, that's for sure. Dr. Ando Nuts, whose flying saucer just blew up. There's Jeff. And here they are, everybody's favorite, Mr. Saturn. With their great little font. Their great little handwriting font. In Japanese, they had a unique font as well. Oh, also Master Belch is here. The Japanese font for the Mr. Saturns, I believe, was based on Itoi's kid's handwriting. George and Gerardo Montague, I do not remember. I remember Gerardo Montague a little bit because we saw him earlier. I didn't remember their names. Paulorama and the Monkeys. Hildegard Monotoli with the statue once again. Venus and the Runaway Five. Pooh getting his own section, well before anybody from Summers. Pooh's Master, who actually does have a name in the English version, I believe. And the Star Master. The Dungeon Man, the Noble Warrior, who is getting a bit of a spotlight here. The Tenda Tribesman, and one Mr. Saturn for some reason. The Flying Men. Oh, we let them down hard. Ooh, Magicant is a real bastard. And here's some random NPCs for us. Contact is one of the many games from Suda51 that I have not played. Admittedly, I haven't played a whole lot of them, but I have a great respect for the guy, and Killer 7 is just really cool all around. So, that's something for me to put on the list. Our dad, the phone, King, Tracy, Ness, and Ness's mom. As Ness briefly takes the center stage, and we get a look, one last quick picture of the Photo Man before he starts sharing the photos with us, and the credits. There he is, hauling out his camera. This is like the first time we really see the camera, though. And he takes a picture of us. Of course, this game is very old, so we don't actually get to see it. I guess if they ever remade it for the Switch or something, that would be a possibility. Although, honestly, I hope they just stay with ports. And here we get to see the people who made this game. Shigesato Itoi. Maybe not necessarily the man's finest hour, but one of the finest hours in the genre in general, and I am so glad that this game exists. I know that it's a bit of a trope to be like, oh, this is my favorite game ever. It has definitely hit a certain level of that with a lot of people. And there's Marcus Lindblom, by the way, the main guy behind the localization, who did, all told, a pretty good job, considering I'm pretty sure that he had a really tight amount of time to do it. And there's a couple of goofs here and there, but it's mostly spot on and, well, inside of what Nintendo's restrictions would allow. So I know that a lot of people love to say, oh yeah, this game was my favorite and it inspired all this stuff I did. For example, there is, of course, a very commonly reposted article from Hard Drive that's like, EarthBound. Person who thinks EarthBound is their favorite game ever is really excited to play it for the first time, and so I admit to a minor amount of hesitation being like, oh yeah, this is my favorite game ever, because I'm not necessarily sure that that's true, but I love this game a lot, and so much of it is just so well written, and I admit also that I would not recommend this to somebody who is an RPG newbie. This game is hard, and it uses a system that is pretty damn antiquated. Also, hey, look, there's everybody dead except for Ness outside of Milky Well. Or rather, the path to Milky Well. Oof, I must have had a really bad time there. But Bravely Second does that. I did not know that. I haven't played any of the Bravely Default games yet, unfortunately. I would probably have to track down physical copies of those because, well, actually saying that, maybe existing emulators for those systems. I think those were 3DS games, right? So Citra and stuff might actually be able to operate those, but I'm not 100% sure. Also, yeah, here we can see the voice actors for the sampled voices. Sadly, we don't get to see any of the rest of the sample list for the music, but that is quite known about, for example, the Moonside theme having a sample of a Rick Ocasek song. Rest in peace, he just died like a year ago, I think. Or maybe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, it was... Pardon me, it was 2 years ago that Rick Ocasek died. Time means nothing to me nowadays because of the pandemic and all that, but I'm sure we all have that issue. And yeah, I will definitely agree with that too many RPGs, too little time thing. Ooh, boy. Games in general, I have a very large collection of games just sitting over on my shelf. There's a bunch of stuff I still haven't played yet and really need to get around to. And yet, to think, there's a couple other things that I want to remember to order at some point. I need to look into how much it would cost to grab a copy of... Oh my god, how did I forget the name immediately? Daemon Ex Machina for the Switch. That looks like a lot of fun. I used to really love the Armored Core games, and that is kind of the spiritual successor as far as I can tell. Sadly, that series is probably never going to be a thing ever again. But we'll at least have a couple of companies making something similar for those of us who are interested in that sort of thing. Presented by Nintendo in association with Ape Inc. and HAL Laboratory Inc. Ah, yes, the Kirby Company. And this is where we see the name scroll on, right? Flare. Off-center. That's a little bit funky. There's definitely a bit of a off-centerness in both directions there. So, yeah. We're not 100% finished with the credits right now. We just wait a moment for this to fade out, perhaps. Or do we have to press start? No, we're waiting. I've seen shorter waits, though, at least. It's not like the secret extra credits at the end of Secret of Evermore. That is a long wait. Secret of Evermore is a pretty good game, though, despite being rather glitchy. But here we are, getting a bit of a repeat from earlier. Hi, Tracy. What an annoying knock. Yeah, I know, right? Very familiar annoying knock. It's even the same dialogue from the beginning of the game, which is pretty great. Yep, even the dog. Oop. Well, we can tell that Picky is definitely a lot stronger than the brother. Letter arrived from my brother Pokey. It is addressed to Ness. There's no stamp and it's not time for the mailman to come. Did you catch sight of who delivered it? It says, come and get me, loser. Spankety, spankety, spankety. Wonder where he is. Well, as discussed, it's not something that the English-speaking territories officially were finding out. However, thankfully there is a fan translation, and maybe one day it'll show up on this channel. But until then, that is the end for EarthBound. I'll be back in a couple of minutes with another game.